Hey guys, how's it going? I'm back in Kansas. This was super like spur of the moment deal. Right behind me over the hill is a bunch of mean rain clouds and the thunder's going crazy. We actually are forecasted to get rain tonight, but wasn't, right now it's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I was just hanging out in my house organizing some stuff and I heard a bunch of thunder outside, looked at my radar app, and it's literally just a couple miles from us. I'm not really sure if we're gonna get hit by this little storm. It's a pretty skinny storm moving east. But either way, there is some storms behind us that are forming. And regardless of all that, there's high chances of storms tonight. So I'm at the duck pond, little timber pond we call it, where we planted all of this duck food plot stuff about a month ago, maybe like 5 weeks ago or something like that. It's coming up absolutely great. This is all, we pumped all this down and we planted this millet and buckwheat, a bunch of different millets and buckwheat kind of mix. I can show you some of them right here. So I noticed right close to the edge of the pond, this real tall stuff, it's all this kind of, and this is a kind of millet, I don't exactly know, I'll probably put the name on the screen when I look it up. I don't know my millets. But this stuff's real tall right around here. Then as you get closer to the, further into like the more mass of the area, you get a lot of millet like this. And they're all filling up with seeds. They still have a couple more weeks of growing. Now I did look up these plants. This plant was not planted. This is just natural stuff that just came up, seed bed in the mud. Put the name on the screen. Forget what it's called, but it is for, and I looked up, it's an aquatic plant, pretty common, and teal love it apparently is what the thing online said. So that's good. Looking around over here, a little bit further from the pond, you can see all these little white flowers. They're all through here. They're just starting to, they're definitely not all headed out yet, but they're definitely starting to. That's all buckwheat, and that's actually filled. All of this as well as part of it. We planted all of this. There's a lot of smartweed as well, wild smartweed coming up. And obviously the water still needs to come up feet to get up to there, but it is possible. I mean, you can see the water line on the trees. Although we've had an driest summer I've ever seen, and we also dropped the pond down a couple feet. But right there is the normal pond level, which I would be in like knee thigh high water right here. And that's kind of where I'm hoping it ends up when the season gets here, because obviously this is usually our kill hole. The blind's right there. This right where the stick is where we usually put our decoys, and we usually like to shoot the birds right at the water's edge now. So if it doesn't come up, I don't think it's a huge deal. We might have to move, if it keeps dropping, we might have to move the blind a little bit further down the pond. There's a blind. Obviously I want the water to come up and flood this big mud flat all the way back up, so that all this food that we have planted here will actually be underwater. Doesn't have to be much water, but obviously ducks and stuff like that, they don't want to have to walk up and eat in all the brush. I'm sure they will, but it'd be much more ideal if this was knee-deep water. So all of this is smartweed, these big leafy plants. That's stuff that we did not plant, it's just natural. So the purpose of this, and why I'm out here right now, is it looks really good over there, looks really good over there, and all back through here, but this one little spot, it's not even that much. It's kind of bare. There's still millet growing up and stuff like that, but it's definitely not as thick as some of the other spots. So my plan is I still have a bag of seed left from STRATTON Seed Company. Check them out. I'm getting a bunch of stuff ordered for all my fall food plots. For this next week. It's August right now, August like 11th or 12th. So next week I'm planting all of our fall plots, and I'm excited to try out their stuff. So very happy with this so far. The stuff came out way better than I was expecting it to. So I'm going to reseed I'm actually going to reseed probably everything, but focus on like the bare areas. And my thought process is a lot of these only have like a 60-day maturity, and they were already like 35, 40 days. Oh, I think it's starting to rain right now. But so this stuff is already like halfway to being mature and being done growing. So even the places where it is pretty thick, I'm going to get some seed in there, and hopefully, the stuff starts to sprout. But before this, the new seed requires a lot of nutrients and growth and room. It's about the time where the majority of this stuff is already like done. It's mature. It's just sitting there. So you might as well have more stuff coming up through it. If we plant it right now and we get some rain, like it's actually starting to sprinkle right now in the next couple days, this stuff should be mature about 2 weeks before duck season, this stuff I'm planting today. So that's the thought process. I have the bag of seed, doesn't do me any good at home. Also, so we fenced this off from the cows. The cows are now gone, they won't be back in here. But the whole rest of the pond cows were in. And so I did spread it, and there is some spots I can kind of see where it came up where the cows couldn't get to it because of falling down trees and stuff. But the majority of it, I planted it and the cows trampled it or ate it or whatever. So I'm also gonna go around the entire edge of the pond and hopefully get some stuff growing around the entire edge since the cows will no longer be in here. So stay tuned for that. I'm super excited. I think this is gonna be an awesome duck year, especially if we can get some rain, which I'm still not too worried about now. It's not needed till about September, October. If we don't start getting a lot of rain, I'll be a little worried. But if this pond can come up a couple feet, then it's gonna be killer, guys. So if you guys missed the last video, this is what we're planting. The final flight, Japanese millet, golden millet, and buckwheat. Most of it's millet, it's only 15% buckwheat. This is by STRATTON Seed Company, right here. You can look at the water. It is it's definitely starting to rain. It's starting to rain. I'm running out of battery power. So I got this little simple bag, go over your shoulder, spread out. I'm gonna spread it pretty thick. I'm probably gonna, this is for an acre, and I'm probably gotta do 3/4 of an acre to a half acre. So I'm gonna apply it pretty heavily, more heavily than it's, you know, needed, but whatever. I'm gonna get this done, and then I'll show you guys the end if it's not raining too hard. But I'm gonna put the camera back in the truck and get to work, guys. So, all right, guys, I figured I'd show you. I got about half of the bag of seed into this bag, and that's what I'm going to use to do right around the edges, and maybe even up on this stuff as well. This will all grow, I think. And then I'm going to save the other half the bag for reseeding the area I've already seeded. But I want to show you guys what the seeds look like. So obviously these big black seeds are the buckwheat, and the rest is the two different kinds of millet. You probably can't even tell the difference. I know I can't. Like I said, I think it's a 40-pound bag for an acre. I got half of it in here, keeping the other half in here. And I'm gonna, with this bag, I'm gonna do all of this, all the way around, and then save the second half for just that big area right there. All right, guys, I got done broadcasting that entire bag. I'm super sweaty, it's really humid. Plus it was raining, so I'm all wet from that. It did stop now, it rained for about 30 minutes. Not really enough to do anything, 1/10 of an inch maybe, but there's more cells coming right behind it. There's quite a bit bigger, and then it's still in the forecast all night for thunderstorms. So fingers crossed we get a bunch. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the pond. I actually got the tractor here. I'm planting my last food plot before I go back up to Alaska tomorrow. I didn't really film any of that. It's kind of a long story. Had a bunch of problems with seed, and I don't have anybody here to help me film. And I actually had to extend my ticket because of how late everything came in. But anyway, I want to show you guys the pond. This has been 8 days since, I assume it was 3 seconds ago for you guys. I was out here broadcasting, and we got a little bit of rain during the video, and then that stopped. And then that night we got a good inch of rain, and then about 4 or 5 days later we got 2 inches of rain, and that was a couple days ago. So I think it's been 8 days, and it's amazing. Number one, like this behind me, the stuff that was already planted looks like doesn't even look like the same spot. It's the amount of growth has been unbelievable, but I'll get to that in a second. But just the stuff that we planted a week ago, so crazy to see. I'll show you guys here real quick. Look at all of that, and that's, I don't know, 5-6 inches tall, you know. Obviously, I did broadcast it all the way through there. That stuff is a lot smaller. This is the stuff right on the edge, which is to be expected. But all the way around. And it actually went all the way around the pond. So as you can see, that this neon green line, there's a blind. And then even like over there. Oop. And all the way over there, and then coming back around the sun. So that's looking great. So looking great. Of course, this is the STRATTON Seed Final Flight Mix. That's also what this is. I just had an extra bag, so I figured might as well broadcast it out. So originally, last week, I thought, so this little strip right here along the pond hadn't changed a whole lot. Seeds got a little firmer, but they were already pretty mature. I say that, I'm sure it's more changed than I remember, but the thing is on everything else, and stuff is so thick. I mean, look at, it's like, and I'm tall, I'm 6'4". Okay guys, so here's a pretty good example. So last week there was very few of these seed heads that looked like this. And it was all of these. And I thought that they were two different kinds of millet. I thought the stuff right by the water was maybe like the, I don't know, the golden millet or whatever. This is the Japanese millet. I wasn't really sure, but I've come out here the last couple different times this week, and I noticed that this stuff, it's actually the same. And what happens is, since I've been kind of watching it, is all of these come together and twist. Like here's like a middle stage, and then that, so you can start to see that they're kind of twisting, and then that gets to this pretty much mature stuff out here. You can see the heads fill up, and it's just all, so now, and it's all like that. All of these are all twisted up. It's all focused for you guys. All the way to as far, and those wood duck boxes right there are probably 40 yards away. So there is a ton of food. And then of course here's where I planted it. Obviously the stuff next to the water's edge is coming up a lot better, but it's even coming up good through here. So actually you can see there's been a bunch of deer tracks in through here. The deer have actually mowed, so that's what I'm actually walking on, is deer trails that come into the water. But you don't want to be crushing seed, counts as disturbing it or changing it, whatever. You can't duck on over it. So I'm just following deer trails that were made by me. So that's incredible. There's also buckwheat. Buckwheat is kind of more further in. I'll show you those real quick. It's all these little white flowers. All of these are little buckwheat, which, you know, they'll produce some food. And then from last week I showed you guys, this is all Smartweed. No, not that, but all these white little like flowers are Smartweed, and that's all stuff that I did not plant. This is also Smartweed, I was told. This is two different kinds. You have the short stuff, the taller stuff, which that'll produce a ton of food. Obviously the millet, tons, literally metric tons of food, and it's awesome. Then there's some other species I went over last week that are kind of getting drowned out by the millet now, but it's looking awesome. Like I said, this is obviously the best part, but it's all around the pond. So now we just need rain. So normally right now I'm in knee-deep water. As I'm going out here, I'm in like waist-deep water. So I'm just waiting on it, you know. It's kind of a waiting game. It's end of August now, August 23rd. We still have a little over 2 months of season, so we still have like, I don't even know, 8, 9, 10 weeks. So it could definitely happen. No rain in the forecast for the next 10 days, which sucks, but whatever. I'm not really sure, because this will probably all, like, you know, these are all going to mature and not be as green. Obviously it's all going to kind of die and fall over and be a lot less thick through here when it all just starts to like die. I'm not sure if the ducks will walk up into this and eat. I'm sure like the geese will. I'm not sure about the little ducks, depending on how thick it is. And they might, you know, I know obviously, ideally you want this to all be about knee-deep water, so when the heads bend over, they're like right in the water. But I just don't know if we're gonna get that much rain. Obviously I'd hoped it to be at least like shin deep or ankle deep or knee deep or just some kind of water so they feel a little more comfortable swimming into this stuff. But you guys have to let me know. But either way, it's like 104 degrees today. It's absolutely scorching hot. I'm gonna hop in the tractor, get the last field I have to get planted, pack up all my stuff up, and head back up to Alaska, which actually their duck season starts September 1st, so I'll be there for that, plus maybe catch the tail end of salmon season, and there's some moose hunting to be done. So stay tuned for all those videos if they don't go up before this one, and I'll see you guys back here in September for teal season and beginning of deer season for us. It's getting close, guys. We're this close from hunting season, so hope you enjoyed it.